Hello everyone. Today, we're going to talk about an exciting and transformative idea, rewilding elephants in Western North America. We'll explore their crucial role in preventing wildfires, improving ecosystems, and combating climate change. In recent years, I've been deeply concerned about the devastating wildfires across Western North America, particularly in California. These fires have caused widespread destruction, affecting communities, wildlife, and ecosystems. Elephants, as modern-day ecological engineers, can step into a role once played by mammoths and other large herbivores that roamed North America thousands of years ago. In today's video, we'll dive into how elephants can help restore ecosystems and reduce fire risks, the process of rewilding elephants in North America, the potential interactions between African and Asian elephants, as well as their relationships with native wildlife and species that could return in future rewilding projects. This is an important topic for the future of our ecosystems, and I hope you enjoy this video. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Your input is valuable as we explore solutions for a healthier planet. Let's get started. Elephants, in the form of their ancient relatives, roamed North America for millions of years. These species included mammoths, such as the Columbian mammoth, Mammuthus columbi, and mastodons, Mammuth americanum, which thrived during the Pleistocene epoch, approximately 2.6 million to 10,000 years ago. Fossil evidence suggests these majestic creatures were widespread across the continent, from the tundras of Alaska to the warmer regions of California and beyond. Fossil discoveries reveal a rich diversity of elephant species in North America. The Columbian mammoth, larger and adapted to grassland environments, coexisted with the woolly mammoth, Mammuthus primigenius, which preferred colder climates. Mastodons, which were smaller and stockier, roamed forests and swamps, feeding primarily on leaves and woody plants. Their fossils have been found in various western states, indicating a thriving population adapted to diverse ecosystems. The extinction of these elephants around 10,000 years ago remains a topic of scientific investigation. Leading theories point to a combination of climate change and human activity as key factors. The end of the last ice age brought dramatic environmental shifts, altering habitats and food availability. Simultaneously, the arrival and expansion of humans in the Americas introduced new pressures, including overhunting and competition for resources. Evidence of human hunting, such as spear points embedded in fossilized remains, supports the theory that human activity contributed to their decline. The loss of elephants in North America marked the end of an era, leaving a significant ecological void. Their extinction reshaped ecosystems and highlighted the complex interplay between climate, human impact, and megafaunal survival. Today, their fossils provide a window into a prehistoric world where elephants once roamed the vast landscapes of Western North America. Rewilding projects aim to restore ecosystems by reintroducing keystone species, and elephants could play a transformative role in Western North America. While this concept may seem unconventional, the region once hosted ancient relatives of modern elephants, such as mammoths and mastodons. Modern elephants, particularly African or Asian species, could fill ecological niches left vacant since the extinction of their prehistoric counterparts. However, such a project would require careful planning, addressing ethical, ecological, and logistical considerations, including habitat suitability, human-wildlife coexistence, and regulatory frameworks. Elephants are nature's ecosystem engineers, capable of significantly reducing the risk of wildfires. Elephants consume large amounts of plant material, including shrubs and small trees, reducing fuel loads that can ignite and spread fires. By trampling vegetation and creating open spaces, elephants naturally establish barriers that can slow or halt the spread of flames. Elephants disperse seeds of fire-resistant or fire-adapted plant species, contributing to a more balanced and resilient ecosystem. In regions prone to devastating wildfires, such as parts of California and the western US, elephants could act as a natural fire mitigation tool while restoring ecological balance. The ecosystems of Western North America face challenges such as invasive species, overgrown vegetation, and biodiversity loss. Elephants could address these issues in several ways. Elephants can help manage vegetation, reduce invasive plant dominance, and promote the growth of native flora, fostering healthier ecosystems. By maintaining grasslands and open habitats, elephants encourage carbon storage in soils, aiding climate change mitigation. Elephants create habitats for other species by breaking down trees and spreading seeds, increasing biodiversity and ecosystem stability. The presence of elephants could spark ecotourism opportunities, bringing attention and funding to conservation efforts. While reintroducing elephants to North America would be a bold and complex undertaking, the potential ecological benefits highlight the value of rewilding as a tool to restore balance and resilience to landscapes that once thrived with these magnificent creatures. When considering which species of elephants could be reintroduced to Western North America, it is essential to select species that are ecologically suitable, capable of adapting to the environment, and able to perform the ecological roles once occupied by their extinct relatives. Two primary candidates emerge: African elephants and Asian elephants. African savanna elephants are well adapted to open grasslands and savannas, habitats that are similar to many areas in Western North America, such as the Great Basin, parts of California, and the southwestern US. Their large size and foraging behaviors make them effective at reducing dense vegetation, controlling invasive plant species, and creating open spaces that enhance biodiversity. African elephants are also capable of thriving in warm climates, which are common in much of Western North America. Clear, dense vegetation and reduce wildfire fuel loads. Create habitats for other species by knocking down trees and spreading seeds. Promote grassland expansion by consuming woody plants. Asian elephants are slightly smaller than African elephants and are adapted to a mix of forested and grassland habitats, similar to areas like the Pacific Northwest or Yellowstone. They are known to thrive in a range of climates, from tropical to temperate, making them a flexible choice for rewilding efforts, effective at clearing underbrush and managing forest vegetation. Disperse seeds of native plant species, aiding in ecosystem restoration. Contribute to maintaining waterholes and other essential resources by digging and creating access points. But Asian elephants may be more vulnerable to cold temperatures, limiting their range to milder climates within Western North America. They are less suited to arid environments compared to African elephants. An alternative to directly introducing modern elephants could involve using advances in genetics to create hybrids or revive traits of extinct species like the Columbian mammoth, Mammuthus columbi. Scientists are exploring the possibility of using genetic engineering to create elephant-mammoth hybrids with traits suited to colder climates and environments where mammoths once thrived. Such hybrids could play a role in rewilding colder regions of North America, such as parts of Canada or the northern US, helping restore ecosystems affected by permafrost melting and tundra degradation. The best fit for grasslands and fire management is African elephants are more suited to open and arid regions, such as the Great Basin or parts of California. Best fit for forested areas and mild climates is Asian elephants may thrive better in temperate zones, such as the Pacific Northwest or Yellowstone. Rewilding both Asian and African elephants in Western North America would require thoughtful planning to ensure ecological compatibility, minimize conflicts, and maximize the benefits of their presence. Why rewild both species? Asian elephants. Adapted to forested environments, they could play a critical role in restoring forest ecosystems, controlling invasive plants, and opening up dense undergrowth. African elephants. Suited for savannas and grasslands, they could help manage open landscapes, reduce wildfire risks by consuming dry vegetation, and create waterholes by digging in dry riverbeds. Together, they could occupy diverse niches and restore ecological balance across various landscapes in Western North America. African elephants need to reintroduce in grasslands, savannas, and semi-arid areas, such as parts of the Great Plains or desert-adjacent ecosystems like Southern California and Nevada. Asian elephants need to focus on forested and riparian areas, such as the Pacific Northwest or forested regions of the Rocky Mountains. Overlap regions, where both species could coexist, could be carefully selected to allow for natural interaction and potential ecological synergy. Ensure that rewilding areas have adequate water sources, food supply, and migratory corridors. Introduce plants and trees that would support both species, considering their dietary preferences. Start with small, monitored populations of each species to study their interactions and adaptation to North American environments. Use protected reserves as initial rewilding zones before expanding into larger, semi-wild or wild areas. Ensure sufficient resources to minimize competition between Asian and African elephants. Monitor interactions with large carnivores like wolves, grizzly bears, and cougars to ensure a balance without excessive predation. Use GPS tracking and ecological monitoring to assess elephant movements, habitat use, and health. Adapt rewilding strategies based on observed interactions between species, their impact on the environment, and community feedback. Asian elephants could reduce forest density and improve biodiversity. African elephants could maintain open landscapes, preventing overgrowth and reducing fire risks. Both species are skilled at finding and accessing water, creating waterholes for other wildlife. Elephants facilitate seed dispersal, supporting the growth of native plants and creating habitats for smaller animals. The combined presence of both species would support a wider range of ecological functions, making the ecosystem more resilient to climate change. Rewilding both Asian and African elephants could transform Western North America into a thriving mosaic of restored ecosystems. While challenges exist, the potential benefits to biodiversity, wildfire prevention, and ecosystem restoration make it an ambitious but worthwhile goal. Through collaboration between conservationists, governments, and local communities, the dream of bringing these giants back could become a reality. Reintroducing elephants to Western North America would require selecting regions where the environment and ecosystem are suitable for their survival, like Asian elephants can adapt to snowy environments. Asian elephants have been observed in cooler, high-altitude regions. Their thick skin provides some insulation, but they rely on food, shelter, and movement to stay warm. For long-term survival in snowy climates, they would need access to adequate resources and suitable habitat, while also ensuring minimal conflict with human activity. Some of the most promising areas for such a rewilding project include: Yellowstone is one of the largest and most well-preserved wilderness areas in the US, offering a diverse landscape of grasslands, forests, and wetlands. Its ecosystem has already benefited from the reintroduction of wolves, and the return of elephants could further enhance the restoration process. The park's vast, remote areas could provide elephants with the space to roam freely, and their presence could help maintain plant diversity, manage fire risks, and contribute to overall ecosystem health. But harsh winters in Yellowstone would need to be mitigated. The Great Basin, characterized by expansive desert, grassland, and mountain ranges, was once home to mammoths and other megafauna. The region faces challenges such as overgrazing by livestock and the encroachment of invasive species like cheatgrass. Elephants could help control invasive plants, create fire breaks, and promote the regeneration of native vegetation. The relatively low human population density makes this area a feasible option for elephant reintroduction. The Sierra Nevada mountains and surrounding foothills are prone to devastating wildfires, and the region's biodiversity is under threat due to the overgrowth of vegetation and invasive species. A rewilding project in this area could help elephants reduce fuel loads, clear dense underbrush, and maintain open landscapes, which are crucial for preventing catastrophic fires. Additionally, the Sierra Nevada is a historically significant region with ecological and cultural importance, offering a strong case for rewilding initiatives. Southern British Columbia offers a mix of forests, grasslands, and wetlands, along with an increasing need for ecological restoration due to human activity and climate change. The region's large natural spaces, such as those found in areas like the Kootenay region or parts of the Okanagan Valley, could be suitable for elephant reintroduction. With the ongoing challenge of wildfires and invasive plant species, Elephants could be an essential tool in managing these ecological threats while promoting biodiversity. The vast landscapes of the Grand Canyon and surrounding areas, including parts of Arizona, Nevada, and New Mexico, offer a unique environment for elephants. These areas have historically supported large herbivores like mammoths, and their grassland and desert ecosystems could benefit from the reintroduction of elephants. The region's fire-prone conditions could also be alleviated through the elephant's natural behaviors, such as clearing brush and reducing vegetation buildup. The Oregon Coast Range, with its mix of coastal forests and grasslands, could provide an ideal habitat for elephants. This area faces threats from invasive species, uncontrolled vegetation growth, and the increasing frequency of wildfires. The introduction of elephants could help restore plant communities, reduce fuel loads, and create healthier ecosystems, all while giving elephants ample space to roam. The interaction between Asian elephants and African elephants would be influenced by their behavioral differences, social structures, and ecological niches. While they are both members of the elephant family, they are distinct species with unique adaptations, so their interactions would likely be complex and context-dependent. Both species are social, forming herds led by matriarchs, with males typically leading more solitary lives after adolescence. Their shared need for social interaction could lead to attempts at forming loose associations, particularly in overlapping territories. Both are ecosystem engineers, shaping their environments by knocking down trees, clearing brush, and distributing seeds. They could complement each other in creating diverse habitats. African elephants are larger, with bigger ears and more prominent tusks. This physical advantage might make them more dominant in direct confrontations. Asian elephants have smaller tusks, or none in females, and are more adapted to dense forests, potentially leading to niche separation. African elephants are often considered more assertive and territorial, which might lead to dominance over the more reserved Asian elephants in shared spaces. Asian elephants are known to be more docile and cooperative, which could reduce the likelihood of direct conflict. Elephants rely on vocalizations, infrasound, and body language for communication. Differences in their languages might initially create misunderstandings, but could evolve into coexistence over time. If resources like food and water are abundant, the two species might coexist without much conflict, dividing territories based on their preferred habitats: grasslands for African elephants, forested areas for Asian elephants. In areas where resources are limited, competition for food, water, or territory could arise. African elephants' larger size and assertiveness might give them an advantage, potentially displacing Asian elephants in some regions. Elephants are highly intelligent and capable of adapting their behavior. It's possible they could learn from each other, especially in managing shared threats like predators or human activity. While unlikely, interbreeding between Asian and African elephants might occur in rare cases, producing hybrids. However, significant genetic differences make this a rare possibility and would require more research. If Asian and African elephants were to share the same environment, their interactions would depend heavily on the availability of resources and the overlap of their preferred habitats. While peaceful coexistence is possible, there could also be competition or niche differentiation. Reintroducing elephants to Western North America would create a dynamic and complex web of interactions with existing wildlife. Each species plays a unique role in the ecosystem, and elephants as keystone species would likely have significant effects on the environment and their interactions with other animals. Elephants are large herbivores that consume vast amounts of vegetation. They could compete with deer for food sources, particularly in areas where vegetation is scarce. However, elephants could also help by clearing dense underbrush and preventing overgrazing by deer in areas where smaller plants dominate. Elephants may reduce the growth of invasive plants that harm deer habitats and support more diverse vegetation in the long term. Like deer, elk would share similar food sources with elephants. However, the larger size and dietary needs of elephants might alter the availability of certain plants, particularly in areas of intense competition. Elephants could help reduce fire risks and restore open spaces that elk favor for grazing. By breaking down dense vegetation, they might increase the availability of grasslands that are essential for elk during certain seasons. Moose, which are largely browsers, eating leaves and shrubs, may find competition for food from elephants in areas with dense forests or wetlands. Elephants can help open up thick forest habitats, potentially benefiting moose by providing easier access to the vegetation they prefer, such as willows and aquatic plants. Wild boars are omnivores and have a varied diet that includes roots, tubers, small mammals, and carrion. Elephants might impact the availability of plant resources in some regions, potentially reducing food for wild boar. By disturbing soil and breaking down underbrush, elephants might help wild boars access food sources like tubers and roots, which they dig up. However, there could be competition in certain areas. Peccaries, which are smaller, pig-like animals, may find it challenging to compete with the larger elephants for food. However, they primarily feed on cacti, fruits, and seeds, which may not be directly impacted by elephant grazing. The disturbance caused by elephants might help peccaries by exposing underground food sources or reducing dense vegetation, making it easier to forage. Bison and elephants both thrive in open grasslands, so competition for space and grazing areas could arise. Bison are herbivores, grazing primarily on grasses, and may face pressure in areas where elephants are abundant. Elephants could help manage vegetation by reducing shrub cover and promoting the growth of grasses, which would benefit bison in the long term. Their presence could help maintain a healthy balance in grassland ecosystems by preventing overgrowth of shrubs and trees. Wild horses, which are also large herbivores, could experience competition for grazing lands with elephants, especially in areas with limited resources. However, horses are more suited to open plains, whereas elephants may prefer diverse habitats with varied vegetation. Elephants' feeding habits may encourage the growth of grasses and open spaces, benefiting wild horses, which thrive in these environments. Wild donkeys would share similar grazing areas with elephants, but their smaller size and different dietary preferences, donkeys often eat tougher plants, may help them coexist with elephants. Like wild horses, donkeys could benefit from the clearing of dense vegetation by elephants, which would open up more space for grazing and better access to water sources. Pronghorn, which favor open grasslands, could benefit from elephants' ability to keep the landscape open by clearing dense vegetation. Pronghorn would have improved access to their primary food sources, grasses and herbs, without having to navigate through thick brush. Furthermore, elephants' presence could deter predators, benefiting the pronghorn's ability to thrive in open spaces. Bighorn sheep inhabit mountainous and rugged terrains, typically preferring steep slopes and rocky outcrops. Elephants' habitats would mostly overlap with bighorn sheep in more accessible valleys, grasslands, and foothills. The larger movements of elephants could disturb bighorn sheep habitats and migration routes. Despite potential disruptions, elephants can benefit bighorn sheep by preventing the overgrowth of shrubs and small trees in lower elevations. This would help maintain open grasslands and meadows, which are vital grazing areas for bighorn sheep. Furthermore, elephants' presence can help reduce competition from invasive plant species, which might otherwise outcompete native plants that bighorn sheep feed on. The disturbance of soil and vegetation by elephants could also result in more diverse plant growth that bighorn sheep could use for foraging. Feral llamas are herbivores that graze on grasses and shrubs, and they typically roam in areas with some level of elevation or open land. While llamas and elephants are both herbivores, their habitat preferences and grazing behaviors differ. Elephants tend to prefer more wooded areas and open landscapes, while llamas are more adapted to mountainous and arid regions. In regions where feral llamas and elephants might overlap, such as foothill zones or grasslands near mountain ranges, elephants could help manage vegetation by trampling down dense brush and reducing overgrowth, creating more open spaces for grazing. Additionally, elephants might help break up soil and encourage plant regeneration, which would provide fresh forage for llamas. Since llamas tend to avoid areas with dense vegetation, The elephant's role in clearing brush could improve access to grazing areas for feral llamas. Beavers primarily build dams in wetland areas, and while they do not directly compete with elephants, they can be affected by the clearing of vegetation around streams and ponds. Elephants' impact on the landscape might alter wetland areas where beavers live. By keeping ecosystems open and promoting plant diversity, elephants may indirectly benefit beavers by increasing the availability of trees and aquatic plants near wetlands. Elephants could also help in maintaining riparian zones, ensuring a stable environment for beaver dam building. Elephants' movements can disrupt the habitat of smaller mammals, such as squirrels, rabbits, and rodents, by trampling over dens and burrows. Smaller mammals would benefit from elephants in several ways. Their activity can create new burrowing opportunities, clear out underbrush, and expose seeds and plant material that small mammals feed on. Elephants may also aid in keeping predator populations in check by maintaining a balanced ecosystem. Birds, particularly ground-nesting species, could be affected by the trampling of elephants. However, elephants' ability to create open spaces and promote the growth of grassland and shrubland habitats could benefit bird populations. The creation of open spaces and disturbed soil by elephants could improve foraging conditions for birds. Seed-eating birds, for instance, would find a more diverse plant base to forage from, and the reduction of shrub overgrowth could make it easier for ground-nesting birds to thrive. Reptiles, particularly those in the desert and grassland ecosystems, rely on specific environmental conditions such as temperature, vegetation cover, and shelter. Elephants can disrupt these habitats by trampling over dense vegetation, which may affect reptile shelters and hunting grounds. On the other hand, elephants can provide important ecological benefits to reptiles. Their movement through grasslands and forests could help create more open areas that reptiles need for basking. Furthermore, elephants' disturbance of the soil could lead to the exposure of insects and small prey species, benefiting insectivorous reptiles. The elephant's grazing and trampling can also reduce the spread of invasive plant species that may crowd out native plants crucial for reptile habitats. Amphibians are highly sensitive to changes in their environments, particularly moisture levels and the quality of water bodies such as ponds, streams, and wetlands. While elephants' movements could potentially disturb wetland habitats, their behaviors could also create new opportunities for amphibians. Elephants' presence can help maintain the integrity of wetland ecosystems by disturbing overgrown vegetation, which often competes with amphibians for habitat. Their trampling may help to maintain the natural flow of water in streams and ponds, creating healthier habitats for amphibians. Additionally, by maintaining the landscape with their foraging habits, elephants can encourage the growth of aquatic plants and trees that amphibians use for shelter, egg-laying, and food. Elephants would play a central role in maintaining ecological balance by acting as ecosystem engineers. Their interactions with these animals would likely result in a mixture of competition and symbiosis. Some species may face challenges, particularly those that share similar feeding habits or rely on specific types of vegetation that elephants consume. However, elephants' long-term impact on reducing fire risk, promoting plant diversity, and creating varied habitats could benefit many species in the long run. Successful rewilding would need to consider these dynamics, ensuring that the ecological roles of all species, both large and small, are preserved and supported. If elephants were reintroduced to Western North America, their interactions with existing and rewilded predators would be complex, influenced by the species' ecological roles, behavior, and the environment they share. Wolves are apex predators and highly social pack animals, and they could see elephants as a potential threat or target for scavenging, especially if an elephant were injured or weakened. However, wolves would likely avoid full-grown elephants, given their size and strength, but might target calves. In the wild, elephants tend to be safe from most predators due to their immense size, thick skin, and protective herds. Wolves might scavenge from elephant carcasses and might target calves, though they would not typically hunt them. Coyotes are opportunistic feeders, and while they generally focus on smaller prey, they might scavenge elephant carcasses or take advantage of calves. However, elephants are far too large for coyotes to pose any significant threat to, and the two species would likely have minimal direct interaction. Coyotes might avoid elephants unless a carcass or food source is available. Like coyotes, red and grey foxes are smaller predators and scavengers. They may not pose any threat to elephants but could scavenge from an elephant's remains. Foxes would generally avoid interaction with elephants due to the large size and dominant presence of the latter. Their role in the ecosystem would be complementary, as foxes would focus on smaller prey and contribute to the biodiversity of the area. Wolverines are known for their ferocity and scavenging habits. However, despite their strong, aggressive nature, wolverines would be unlikely to engage directly with elephants. Their interactions would likely involve scavenging from elephant carcasses, as they are opportunistic feeders. Wolverines might benefit from the presence of elephants by having access to additional food sources. Black bears are omnivores, and they often scavenge from carcasses or forage for plant material. While black bears might be curious about an elephant's presence, they would not typically pose a threat to adult elephants. However, black bears might interact with younger or sick elephants, potentially seeking an opportunity to scavenge if an elephant dies. There would likely be little direct interaction unless food sources become involved. Grizzly bears are larger and more aggressive than black bears, and while they might avoid healthy adult elephants, they could be more inclined to scavenge from elephant carcasses. Grizzly bears, being highly territorial and dominant, might challenge elephants if they find an opportunity, but such interactions would be rare and would likely involve a significant power imbalance. Elephants would likely avoid grizzly bears, and the bears would do the same unless a carcass is involved. Cougars are solitary apex predators in North America. They generally prefer to hunt deer, elk, and smaller prey. While cougars might avoid adult elephants, especially due to their size, they may scavenge from elephant carcasses or prey on calves, vulnerable elephants if they are left alone. However, cougars would likely steer clear of fully grown elephants, recognizing their strength and potential danger. Jaguars, though typically found in South and Central America and was in North America, could be reintroduced to parts of southern North America. As powerful predators, they might be capable of taking down smaller prey, but like cougars, jaguars would likely avoid adult elephants due to their size, but might target calves. They could scavenge from elephant remains if the opportunity arises. There would likely be little direct interaction, and jaguars would prefer to avoid confrontation with elephants. Jaguars are known to sometimes form coalitions, typically when resources are abundant. A coalition of jaguars might be more daring in their attempts to challenge larger prey, but even in a coalition, jaguars would likely refrain from taking on fully grown elephants. They may, however, target sick or juvenile elephants. The interaction between jaguars and elephants would likely be limited to scavenging, and jaguars would avoid unnecessary conflict with such large animals. Lions, like jaguars, could be considered for future rewilding projects in the US or Mexico, where some scientists propose they might thrive. Lions are social animals and could pose a greater threat to young or sick elephants, especially in large groups. However, lions would be unlikely to challenge a healthy adult elephant directly due to its massive size and defensive capabilities. Their interactions would likely be opportunistic, focusing on scavenging from elephant carcasses rather than direct predation. Cheetahs are speed-oriented predators, specialized in hunting smaller and more agile prey such as gazelles. Even if reintroduced, cheetahs would not pose a threat to elephants, as they are not built to take down large herbivores. Cheetahs would likely avoid elephants entirely, focusing instead on their preferred prey. However, in the long term, cheetahs could benefit from the presence of elephants by contributing to the ecosystem's diversity and helping manage smaller populations of prey animals that elephants do not affect. The presence of elephants in Western North America would likely reshape local ecosystems. While most predators such as wolves, cougars, and bears would not actively hunt elephants due to their size and power, but they might target calves, there would be some competition or scavenging over elephant carcasses. Elephants' ability to modify their environment, such as clearing brush and creating fire breaks, could have positive effects on the broader ecosystem, indirectly benefiting many other species by reducing vegetation density and promoting biodiversity. In a rewilding context, interactions between elephants and these species would be natural but limited in direct conflict. Most predators would prefer to avoid adult elephants, but would scavenge their remains when the opportunity arises. The larger and more social species, like lions or jaguars, might display occasional curiosity, but their interactions with elephants would mostly revolve around avoiding conflict or scavenging from carcasses. As we've seen today, the idea of reintroducing elephants to Western North America presents an exciting possibility for ecosystem restoration. By reintroducing these majestic creatures, we could witness significant benefits like reducing wildfire risks, enhancing biodiversity, and rebalancing landscapes that have been altered over time. Elephants, with their role as ecosystem engineers, could also interact with a variety of native species, wolves, bears, cougars, and even reintroduced lions and cheetahs, in fascinating ways. These interactions might be rare, but they could play a key role in shaping the future of the ecosystem, as both competitors and collaborators in nature's intricate web. Whether it's clearing dense brush, managing vegetation growth, or providing new opportunities for scavengers, the potential impact of elephants in this region is immense. While challenges lie ahead in terms of logistics and ensuring peaceful coexistence, the long-term vision of a restored, thriving environment is within reach. If you're passionate about wildlife, conservation, and the idea of bringing back species that once roamed these lands, consider supporting rewilding efforts and exploring how you can get involved in projects like these. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with others who might be interested in this incredible journey of rewilding.